Hey everyone, welcome back. Great to have all of you here again. We are continuing our Polity series where we are going article by article through the Constitution, covering everything that matters from a prelims point of view. In our last session, we covered Articles 12 to 15, which dealt with the state, law, the general right to equality, and non-discrimination. Today, we are moving forward and completing the right to equality chapter by covering Articles 16, 17, and 18. These deal with equality in public employment, the abolition of untouchability, and the abolition of titles. We are doing a comprehensive clause-by-clause breakdown today, so stay with me. Let us get straight into it. Before we go clause by clause, let us understand the big picture of what these three articles are each doing. Article 16 is about equality in public employment. Its focus is on opportunity and access to state services. Article 17 is about the abolition of untouchability. Its focus is on social dignity and it operates as an absolute guarantee with no exceptions. And Article 18 is about the abolition of titles. Its focus is on status equality and ensuring no artificial hierarchy is created through foreign distinctions. Together, these three articles extend the equality principle from the courtroom and public spaces into the workplace, into social life, and into the question of how the Republic recognizes its own citizens. Keep this framing in mind as we go deeper. Article 16 has two core clauses to start with. Clause 16.1 guarantees equal opportunity to all citizens in matters of employment or appointment to any office under the state. The word all citizens is important here. This is a citizens-only right, just like Article 15. Clause 16.2 then lists the specific grounds on which no citizen can be made ineligible or discriminated against. Those grounds are religion, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, and residence. Now notice something. Compared to Article 15.1, Article 16.2 has two additional grounds. Article 15.1 listed religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. Article 16.2 adds descent and residence on top of those five. This is a very common prelims trap. Students mix up the two lists. So make a mental note right now. Article 16.2 has 7 grounds. Article 15.1 has 5. The two extras in 16.2 are descent and residence. Now, Article 16 is a qualified right, meaning it has exceptions built into it. This slide covers two administrative exceptions. The first is the residence exception under Clause 16.3. Parliament and only Parliament, not state legislatures, can prescribe a residence requirement within a state or union territory as a condition for employment under that government or local authority. This power is exclusively with Parliament. If a state legislature tries to do this on its own, it would be unconstitutional. That distinction is a favorite prelims question. The second is the religious institution exception under Clause 16.5. If an office is connected to a religious or denominational institution, it is legally permissible to require the person holding that office or sitting on its governing body to profess that particular religion. So a temple trust can legally require that its manager be a Hindu. That is not discrimination in the constitutional sense because the nature of the office itself has a religious character. This slide covers the two most important social justice exceptions in Article 16. Clause 16.4 allows the state to reserve appointments or posts for any backward class of citizens. The condition is strict. The state must be of the opinion that the backward class is not adequately represented in state services. It is not a blanket power. There has to be a finding of inadequate representation. This is the constitutional backbone of reservations in government jobs for OBCs, SCs, and STs. Clause 16(6) was added by the 103rd Constitutional Amendment in 2019. It allows the state to reserve up to 10% of posts for economically weaker sections, but specifically those who are not already covered under Clause 16(4). So EWS reservation is separate from and in addition to the existing SC, ST, and OBC reservations. This is a point candidates must be absolutely clear on. This slide is extremely important and is the source of several tricky prelims questions, so pay close attention. Clause 16(4)(a) deals with promotions. It allows the state to make reservations in matters of promotion for SCs and STs specifically, provided they are not adequately represented in state services. An important detail here is consequential seniority. When an SC or ST employee gets promoted through this reservation, they also get seniority from the date of that promoted posting, not just the promotion itself. Clause 16(4)(b) is the carry-forward rule, and this is the UPSC trap the slide warns you about. Here is how it works. If reserved vacancies in a particular year remain unfilled, those vacancies are treated as a separate class of vacancies and carried forward to the next year. Now the trap is this. When those vacancies are carried forward, they do not count towards the 50% reservation ceiling of the new year. So in effect, in the year they are carried forward, the total reservation can exceed 50% without violating the Constitution. Students often get confused and think any reservation above 50% is unconstitutional. That is not entirely accurate because of the carry-forward rule under 16(4)(b). Now we come to one of the most powerful provisions in the entire Constitution. Article 17 abolishes untouchability and forbids its practice in any form. There are two things to focus on here. First, it is not just a negative prohibition on the state. The enforcement of any disability arising from untouchability is itself an offence punishable by law. Parliament has given effect to this through the Protection of Civil Rights Act of 1955. So there is criminal liability attached. Second, and this is your most important exam point, Article 17 is an absolute right. There are zero constitutional exceptions. Unlike Article 16, which has 5 explicit subclause exceptions, Article 17 has none. You cannot justify untouchability on any ground. There is no religious exception, no cultural exception, nothing. It applies against both the state and private individuals, which makes it unusual among fundamental rights. Most rights only bind the state. Article 17 binds everyone. Write this down somewhere prominent. Article 17 is the only fundamental right under the right to equality that is absolute and has zero constitutional exceptions. Article 18 deals with the abolition of titles and works in two directions. From the state side, the state cannot confer any title on anyone. There is an important exception though. Military distinctions and academic distinctions are explicitly permitted. So a Paramveer Chakra or a PhD designation is perfectly fine. What is not permitted is a hereditary or feudal title like a Rai Bahadur or a Sir. These were colonial era practices and the Constitution explicitly buries them. From the citizen's side, no citizen of India shall accept any title from a foreign state, and there are no exceptions to this rule on the citizen's side. Note the contrast carefully. For the state, there are exceptions for military and academic distinctions. For the citizen accepting a foreign title, there are zero exceptions. A quick note on national honors like the Bharat Ratna and Padma Awards. These are not titles in the constitutional sense. The Supreme Court has clarified this. They cannot be used as suffixes or prefixes to one's name, which is what would make them a title. As long as they are used only as decorations or honors and not as part of the name, they are constitutional. This slide breaks down clauses 18.3 and 18.4, which deal with what happens when people holding state offices interact with foreign governments. Clause 18.3 targets non-citizens who hold an office of profit or trust under the state. Such a person cannot accept any title from a foreign state without the consent of the President of India. Clause 18.4 is broader. It applies to any person, whether citizen or non-citizen, who holds an office of profit or trust under the state. Such a person cannot accept any foreign present, emolument, or office without the President's consent. The logic is straightforward. If you are serving the Indian state in any capacity, your loyalty and conduct cannot be influenced by foreign governments through gifts, money, or positions. Presidential consent acts as the constitutional safeguard. So whether it is a title, a gift, a payment, or an appointment, the gate is the same. Presidential approval is required. This is your revision table, and it is beautifully designed for last-minute recall. Article 16 is about public employment. It targets state action, and its nature is qualified, meaning it has 5 explicit subclause exceptions built in. Article 17 is about human dignity. It targets both the state and private individuals, and its nature is absolute, with 0 constitutional exceptions. This is the most distinctive feature. Article 18 is about status equality. It targets both the state and individuals, and its nature is restrictive, meaning foreign interactions are permitted but only through the gate of presidential consent. The big picture takeaway from Articles 16 to 18 is this. These articles complete the equality chapter by ensuring that equality is not just a courtroom concept. It reaches into who gets a government job, into how society treats its most marginalized members, and into whether the state or its servants can be influenced by foreign powers through titles and gifts. That is a comprehensive vision of equality. And that wraps up today's session on Articles 16, 17, and 18. Please revise the comparison between Article 15.1 and Article 16.2 grounds because that comes up repeatedly. And remember the absolute nature of Article 17 and the carry-forward rule under 16.4b. Those are your high-yield revision points. Thank you so much for being here. Keep the momentum going with your preparation, and I will see you in the next session. All the best.